Hello, welcome to Toffee TV. It's the final word. Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Everton 1. I'll be honest, not a scoreline I was expecting to be saying. I thought we could get something down there, but I just didn't see us winning down there, so I'm absolutely delighted with the results. Performance wasn't amazing, but I thought it was a brilliant defensive performance, and you get your rewards sometimes from doing that. And Everton got it by basically negating anything that Brighton could do, really. I think Jordan Pickford had like a real save to make. That was a really good, and their keeper didn't, in all fairness, but we got the 3 points pedding. It's a huge win, and it's everything is context, isn't it? We've gone away and performed decently at sort of Arsenal defensively and at Man City defensively. But where we are right now, this 3 points is massive, and it is all about, as grim as it is, because we keep sort of putting ourselves back to the start and going, this season we want to try and do this, but this season is literally about getting to that stadium in the Premier League, isn't it? And
well, it is now, isn't it? It is now. I mean,
it shouldn't have been at the start.
No, it shouldn't have been. It could have been a bit more, but it is now, and this was a massive boost. Back-to-back wins. I just think that the whole, just having a mentality as well, isn't it? It's getting to a mentality where people feel happy, and again, things that can't be quantified, people that maybe don't see this from the outside, maybe people want to say, well, that was a Dyche performance or whatever, but it's the context, isn't it? Like you just said, everyone feels happy, everyone feels happy with the manager. There's context to the game as well. We lost one of our most important players after 13 minutes in the game. That really changes the entire way we have to play the game for the rest of it, because we don't have a striker who can come on and do the same thing. We played the last 15 minutes or so with 10 men. That's another big thing. And another big thing, like you just said, is when we've been getting clean sheets or not even been getting clean sheets, our goalies had to make 7 saves, 6-7 saves. On Saturday, the defence in front of them did that work for them. And I think that's another thing that will be overlooked. The scoreline will be looked at and gone, it's just a Dyche performance, that. But to all us, it's not. And I think having that positivity is such an important thing.
No, I totally agree, and that is a really good point about the importance of Jordan Pickford in those other games where down at Arsenal he's made really important saves. City, other games he's kept us in it. Even when we've lost games, we've gone, if it wasn't for Pickford, that would have been 3 or 4 or whatever. It was never ever like that Saturday. He was calm in everything he did, really. And it was a huge win, and mindset is everything, isn't it? And the fans, I'd never sit here and say all Evertonians, but I think a lot of Evertonians just feel happier about the situation. I think a lot of us are delighted it's David Moyes at the moment in charge, and his responses, his press conferences, the language that he uses, it is a breath of fresh air, really, what we needed. Sean Dyche had done up to a point, had done a good job this year. It hasn't worked, and Moyes has come in and listening to the players talking, seen an interview with Jake O'Brien after the weekend, and he was like, the manager's mindset, the manager is, we go after teams now, which we weren't doing, and it's all of those things where without them saying it, you're reading the stuff and going, we basically weren't enjoying what we were doing because we were on the back foot. Where even in this game, second half was a different story. I thought Brighton were excellent in the second half, but first half we did carry an attacking threat. We just didn't use the ball well enough, and that then does come down to when people say we need a bit more quality. You'd never disagree with that, but we went with the same team, which we expected them to do, really. James Garner was back on the bench, which was a welcome boost. But I thought, sort of like, they were always going to try to get on the front foot immediately, but I thought we dealt with it really well, and particularly one matchup we were looking at, I think we spoke about this on the preview, was Jake O'Brien up against Matoma. And it was the first, him and Lamptey, wasn't it, down the left, really, and they did stretch us early on a couple of times, particularly Lamptey, but I thought Jake O'Brien and Linson really got to grips with them and sort of nullified it.
I think the first time they tried something, Matoma actually come inside and left the space for Lamptey, and it did stretch Jake O'Brien because he's just really, really quick, and you don't you worry about being on the wrong side. You know, I think we've been pulled inside. He'd come inside Matoma, hadn't he, and he'd allowed that space. So yeah, and that was the first real one. But I thought there was a couple of times in the second half where they did the same sort of thing, and then it was like there was a few times where they did get past the full-back, and thankfully I think the full-backs were almost like, well, if once you get past us, we'll stay close, but we're not getting close enough that we're going to fall all over you, which can be very tempting. I'll throw a last-ditch tackle in. And I think for the most part we dealt with it. It's always going to be tough. You know, they changed a few things, didn't they, because they were playing at home, and they're not going to be playing on the counter-attack as much, and they're going to be playing, they know they're going to be playing against an opposition that's going to be being a bit deeper and probably trying to get 5 across when they're out of possession. But you're going to have those moments. It's a football game for 90 minutes. There's always going to be moments. But I thought the first 10 minutes, it was interesting because I was watching it and I wasn't quite sure what we were trying to do, because we were trying to play out of the back, and everyone was trying to get comfortable on the ball. And it is an interesting thing. If the manager basically looks like he said to them, I want you to play football. There'll be times to go longer. But there's times when I want you play, and I don't want you just giving the ball away stupidly. And so I think there's a nervousness early on. It looked like a bit of a nervousness, but we started to find a little bit more of a rhythm. And the ironic thing is, I think the first time we've gone for the long balls when Dom's done the injury.
Yeah,
and it's like,
there we go. Because he looked quite lively, Dom, early on. He'd won a couple of headers and was moving about a bit. And we do. It's a long ball, isn't it? We've knocked it back and it's gone forward, and he's just jumped. And the minute he shakes his head and sits down, you're like, oh, here we go. You're hoping he's just landed awkwardly, on, you know, and it's just after sit down. But you could tell by his face, you know, his leg looked like it was tensed as well, which is always a thing of, you know, a muscle injury, and that was a hammer blow really, because he's looked a different player in the 2 games that David Moyes has been in, hasn't he? He's looked like he's got the bit between his teeth again. So to lose him was massive for us really, and Beto come on, and it's not the same. It's a different thing for the opposition, and he showed at times he's got a bit different than Dom, but it isn't the same as what you're set up for. He doesn't keep the ball as well. But ironically, his first sort of interaction, it should have ended with him getting a shot away. He won a long ball, he won a header well to the Corey and pulled into the space, and the Corey gives him, it's not a great ball, but he gives him it back, and he's trying to stop it with the sole of his foot, and it runs under. Instead of just taking a little inside and getting a shot away, runs under his foot. But listen, he worked hard enough. He was a willing runner all day, but you do lose something when Dominic Calvert-Lewin goes off, just simply because they're not like for like strikers, are they? So you do have to sort of go away from what you've been working on all week. Yeah,
I mean, Bethel's nowhere near as good as Dom. He's just not as good as him, and it shows. You just can't do the same thing. As I've said loads of times, you can't hold the ball up, and I put a lot that down to the people who've been coaching him for the last 18 months. If I'm honest, sorry, but you've got to look at someone for why he hasn't really developed at Everton Football Club. You really do, and he's a player. You can get him into the channel, but just the way you set up, you want to play. You can knock the ball into and get it back, and then turn and get our wide plays involved, and he just can't do it. He can't control the ball well enough within the instant that you need to in the Premier League. So it's going to be very interesting what we do, whether they work at it with him or they look to.
Well, they're going to have to bring someone in.
No, they're going to have to, because
if Dom is a 2 or 3 monther, which it could easily be. Didn't look good, did it? No, and again, we don't know, so it is very early, but just going with the manager's language the weekend, and if he is 6-8 weeks, even which is around normal for a hamstring, that takes us through to, the end of March?
Beginning of April.
You know, beginning of April, there's a lot of games there. Break. So, Everton can't just go with Beto. Chimiti, I mean, I'd love someone who gets in the room at Finch Farm for a bloody press conference to actually ask the manager what's up with Chimiti, or where's he up to. He'll end up going back. I'm sure.
You'd like to think so.
I think he will. I mean, again, the manager hinted at the back end of last week that that's probably going to happen. So we were looking at a forward player anyway. Now you're thinking at least 2 forwards have got to come in, and we're going to have to get someone who can either has got a different profile to Dom and is quick, or I don't know, can take the ball and has got good movements or whatever, or another big type of centre forward who can back in and keep hold of it, aren't we? Because it's fine having Beto there to battle and scrap for things. That's okay, but we need something else as well, because we don't want to have to go too far away right now from what we're used to. And it looks like we're probably going to have to go on the market, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's, it's so disappointing, isn't it? Because of the positivity. I mean, don't get me wrong. We could be sitting here now talking about a defeat and players being injured. At least we're talking about a win and everything being equal. It's a lot looking a lot more promising. But we've got to, because we've got one centre forward who doesn't really fit what we're trying to do. So we're going to have to do something, and we're going to have to do something quick. And this, I just don't see Dom back in the next couple of months. And if that's the case, and Chimiti, they've gone very quiet on, which means he isn't training, which means he's probably...
He posted a picture of himself on his social media over the weekend.
That's nice.
So
you're looking at definitely another 1 or 2 to come in, and they're going to have to. They're just going to have to if we're going to have control in games. That's football, isn't it? It's just one of those things.
You need one anyway, even if you went Beto's all right, you still need another one, because if he gets injured or whatever, or when he's tired, you're knackered, aren't you? So, I mean, Brighton, as you would expect with the team sort of on the front foot, but like I said, when they got into areas, they were just lashing shots that were sort of going nowhere near our goal. And the times they did, Tarkowski was in the way, or Branthwaite was in the way. We did try to play out a few times and did it nicely, but then the final pass in and around their penalty area wasn't good enough, or we maybe passed up the opportunity to get shots away. I mean, would you like to see us having more shots? Because we did a few times. No, what I mean is, what they looked like, they were trying to work the space when there was opportunities, I think, to get a shot away. Certainly in the first half, not so much in the second half.
I just don't think. I just think when Dom went off, I just don't think it was just really hard to. First half, everyone's adjusting. I just thought we were playing off the cuff very much in the first half.
Well, our front 2 are 2 lads who aren't renowned for keeping the ball,
and that's the big. So we were playing off the cuff, and we weren't really. We were still sort of. I mean, it was 0-0, so we were just we were still trying to make opportunities, but I just think the build-up play just evaporated. Sadly, so it was all off the cuff. With a couple of moments here or there, nothing really. We haven't made their goalkeeper made a save, and we get a very fortunate penalty in terms of how it happens. Not like we forced a big moment. But sometimes you need that little bit of luck. But obviously, that's what this week will be for now, won't it? To look at the whole picture of how we play and how we can change in the final third with what we've got. And they're the things in football you have to deal with. You lose a player. That's important to how you build up. So you have to look at what you can do to get the best out of the next guy, and what you can learn from that guy as well, how we can play into his strengths as well. And that will be important as well. And hopefully, if the game plan changes based on that, then hopefully, you can get more out of the game. But Saturday was just a case of hoping that when you bring Beto on, that they go, oh, we haven't changed for Beto as well. We know what Dom's going to do. Can we deal with it? Or we haven't really changed. And you're changing the whole. So I think for those 15 minutes or so, for certainly the last 15 minutes, it was that chaos can play a good part. I think professional football, certainly Premier League football, is too good to go, oh, chaos is going to outdo everything else, because the players are too good.
We got to also create for Beto.
Yeah,
not going to really do anything himself. No. I mean, one of our sort of big moments in the first half happened really early on when the goalkeeper and the defender left it for each other. After Beto, it just rolled past the far post, didn't it? But we did get the penalty. I mean, What did you make of it? Because when you seen it from behind, it was a clear handball. Yeah. It was just whether or not there was a shove in the lad's back. But David Moyes sort of said, well, I'd be a bit disappointed my defender went over with that little bit of contact. What did you make of it?
It was a penalty, wasn't it? I thought it was a penalty as soon as I seen the other angle of it. It's not a foul. Once the referee decides it's not a foul,
then it can only
be a penalty. It's two players going together, isn't it? And he sort of the defender is sort of almost thrown himself at the ball, as in to go, I've just been fouled. You haven't been fouled, mate. And everyone could see you hadn't been fouled. It wasn't, because a foul to me is when you either push in the back or you shove with an elbow. When two players are going 50-50 in the arm and arm, that's not a foul. That's shoulder to shoulder. That's never a foul, never will be a foul. So once he'd made that decision that it wasn't a foul, if you turn around and go, it's a foul, then you go, oh, like soft, and also you've got yourself out a bit of a decision there, haven't you? But once it's hit his hand, the VAR can't ignore that. It simply can't. I
can't understand how it took him so long to give it though. When he looked at it about 10 times, like the first time you look at it, you go, "Oh yeah, it's a penalty," because you can see him knock it. I know they're looking to see is there any real contact, but the referee was behind it and seeing that there was no contact, which is why you awarded the corner to Everton in the first place. So, but anyway, he gave the penalty, and Illiman and Jai stepped up, and even now when I see it, I think the keeper's going to save it.
I don't like that kind of penalty. No. I don't like when you cut across yourself. I mean, it's gone right in the corner, but you're talking fingertip there, so I was a little bit nervous. But
it went in. You know, we've scored the goal, and then he obviously gets booked for celebration.
Being a bird.
Fans can have a go and stick fingers up and say whatever they want, but you just doing some bird celebration for 2 seconds is enough to get you booked.
It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Referee's lost his mind. That was like the referee's way of going. That's basically the referee taking the heat off himself, because they showed the penalty on the board.
Yeah, and they were going mad.
And they were all going mad about it. So the crowd was up. So basically what he's saying is, you're inciting the crowd that I actually incited. That's it, isn't it? It's like you're making this worse. You should shake hands and walk back. It's like, hang on, they're kicking off because you've given a penalty rightfully. They're not kicking off because this lad's doing a beard impression. He hasn't got beef, has he? With Seagulls.
Or Brighton.
Or Ned.
Not like he played for Palace.
No, I know what I'm saying.
Ned, is it? Yeah.
It's like he's not. He hasn't got this big thing going on, which is
not that Ned played for Palace, by the way.
But he hasn't also got this like. He hadn't had murder in the game, and from then on they were booing him for scoring and pretending to be a bird. That's got to be a first.
Maybe
that's got to be a first.
Well, there was that thing, wasn't there? You know, you'll
never squawk alone.
It wasn't never squawk alone. No, it was something.
Can I have that?
It was something like, you know, booked for doing a seagull impression. You'll never sing that. Or something like that. Like, those like it was a bit.
I mean, we
do like firsts.
Even over the weekend, we've seen worse things. We've seen much more insightful things. It's just like how you're booking them because they don't like you. And you're trying to take the pressure off.
Taking the joy out of football, aren't you? And even a bit of banter.
It's not about it before.
It is.
It's not about it before. It's like football fans give football players horrendous abuse.
Terrible abuse.
On match days and on non-match days. And then the players give a little bit back. And it's like I know we've had it with Neil Maupay, right? And what makes me laugh about the whole Neil Maupay thing is because I think you have to have an element of I've done something in my life to give it, and he hasn't.
That's terrible football.
So therefore I'm like, you know, and these fans over the weekend give him quite a lot of stick, and his mum, with banners and stuff. I don't think he's worth a banner, but there you go.
Nice fans, did they?
Yeah.
Nice giving
which goes against literally their name.
Yeah,
because they're Nice fans.
It does, yeah.
But they wrote something about him and his mum, which I wouldn't have wasted a banner on. But listen, I don't know what he's done to them. But like, you know, I've seen Steven Gerrard literally cup his ear at the Glasses and run all the way down. Like, I don't feel any worse than him scoring the goal in the first place. And unless you're Roger Tweedle and you really feel the need to throw an empty Lucas A ball, I don't.
Allegedly.
Yeah, Well, we got done for it.
Yeah, but
he can't sue us.
No, but I still think,
I'm not sure.
maybe we give Rog
the solicitor to come for us.
No, give him the benefits of that.
I will give him, but what I'm saying is that
I know what you mean.
Football fans in general,
it is mad.
Give it, so they've got to be able to take it. You've got to be able to take it as a football fan, and if that means some fella does a beard impression, you're gonna have to take it, lads. I'm sorry.
It's the way it is, isn't it?
If he'd gone over and punched the mascot,
that's a bit aggressive.
Then that would have been bad.
If he'd gone over and like stood there with his tongue out and given it all that to them and all, whatever, then you sort of go, you're inside. But he just, he was giving it the Ben, and he goes in his little celebration. He's going to want a curly whirly or something. Whatever he does that anyway, though, doesn't he? That's his celebration.
Curly whirly flying bird.
There you go.
I don't get it.
There you go. And then obviously that brought 7 minutes stoppage time at the end of the first half. But Everton
which is fine.
There was no sort of response really from Brighton. We went in at half time 1-0 up. I thought they were much better second half. They moved the ball well better than we did, and we were getting deeper and deeper, weren't we? But again, limiting them really to nothing clear cut. They had a couple where it dropped off a corner and they were trying to get shots away, but nothing again that Pickford had to deal with. And really thought sort of like Idrissa Gueye stood up in that moment. And Mangala, the pair of them, just in front, particularly Idrissa Gueye in front, just breaking so many things down, getting feet, foot in when they looked like they were away from him. And he went through unbelievable amounts of work. Lindstrom got taken off. It's because he's mostly done
playing as a wing back
and done a defensive job. But that's another thing that I think David Moyes needs a big tick for, because Patterson he's involved now, and now it's up to him to convince the manager he's worth the start. But at least he's getting involved.
I thought the subs were so much better. Like the timing of them was a lot better. Like everybody sort of went, Lindstrom needs to come off, and the manager did the same thing in that moment. It was like there was no he didn't, like, Lindstrom came off, but Garner was actually down. And it was like, that's the sub. Everyone knew that was the sub that needed to happen, and it happened. There was no like, wait till he score, lads, or something. Because I mean, they'd had the Matoma shot that had killed Why, and they'd had the one where Jared sort of hits him on the back and then drops, and the lad gets the shot off. Like the only mistake Brantwaite made in the entire game, I think. And he gets and the shot goes wide, and they'd only had those really. And
was it Russ said that when it just fizzed? Was it a hell of a shot?
Wide, and they only really had them, so it was about making the subs at the right time. And I thought we made that sub at the right time. Then Ashley Young
done well on that,
and I thought Garner done well when he came on. So all the subs worked. It was, and the irony is that with 10 minutes to go, we need another sub, and we had one. We can't use them, which is just crazy. I mean, obviously it's one of those things where you don't really think about it till it happens to you, but it's happened to us, and you think, okay, but we've got injured players, and we've got an injured player who had to go off, and now we've got to play with 10 men, which doesn't that sort of go against our players that are on the pitch in terms of
trying to protect them?
No, not just
but I mean fitness.
Physically, those players
could
get an injury because of that, and you just think, I know we have a concussion thing, but why don't we have something for players, even if it's like you go down to 10 men for 2 minutes, and then you can bring a player on to prove that player is really injured. If you've got to take Dominic Calvert-Lewin off after 10 minutes, he's injured. So therefore, why should that count against you?
Why not just after 5 things?
Well, it's time, isn't it? It's breaking up the game. I get that. No, I do get it.
You know what I mean? If you're allowing 5 subs,
no, I know.
And you could get injuries, and then you go, well, you've got it. Everton could have lost another player 2 minutes later, and then you go, we're down to 9 men, but we've got 2 subs that could be on the pitch.
It is that. It is daft.
I just think it's a little.
Especially when you go concussion. Well, why is a concussion worse than if someone's got an ACL? Which Mangala could have an ACL?
But concussion is bad as well, brain. But but it's a serious,
what if that player,
it's a serious injury.
What if Mangala goes, I'm not coming off? What if he decides? Because we've seen players play on.
He did carry on.
That's what I'm saying. We've seen players because he knew there was no sub.
Yeah, he carried on.
So we've seen players carry on.
We could do him with
and it could, for 5 extra minutes, could absolutely ruin that knee. So he stays on because we're down to 10 men. That doesn't make it.
It's not like you can. It's not like a broken leg. You know straight away you can't. But something like an ankle or a knee, and knees are really bad. You can't.
The adrenaline kicks in.
You look and go, will you carry on? You're all right. We haven't got any subs. And he goes, I'll give it a go. And you could see him going, Like I feel like it's not great, but I'll give it a go.
It's crazy. That's great. That's players' welfare. It's all about players' welfare, and I understand concussion. It's very much It's
and people might say, well, what happens if you've made 5 subs and then it happens? Well, you've made all 5, haven't you? You've made all 5. But
we get an extra one for concussion.
We get an extra one for concussion, but what I mean is it highlights the thing of, if you've made the 5, well, okay, but when you've got that kind of situation, but you still have got 2 subs, 2 lads who are there who could come on, you do start going,
it is mad.
Well, really, what's the point then? Just, you may as well put anyway.
I thought second half, listen, the first 10 minutes of it were really, really rough. Really.
The crowd got
they
up,
stepped up, and you were like, don't, come on, get through this 10 minutes. And then there was lulls in play with it. And I thought what we did, we adapted to everything that was thrown at us. And once we got past that first 10 minutes, I thought everything else was just the same. And it was, for us, obviously, because we were playing 4 in possession and 5 out of possession as a back line, and whether that be Linson tucking in or in Jai, and obviously second half that took a lot out of them, and that's where you need your centre forward massively. That's where you need your out ball. That's where you need your out ball to your centre forward. You can get it down, knock it to midfielder, but when your midfielder and your centre forward can barely get hold of the ball,
not great to keep.
You can't. It makes it even harder. Then I'll
be honest. I actually thought Decore was more of a problem.
No, he was.
Beto did stretch them a couple of times, but if you'd have had someone,
you need that player you can drop it down.
That's what I'm saying. If you had someone in possession, you could keep it off him and be able to thread them in behind. We'd have stretched them a little bit more.
An out ball, innit? We just simply didn't have an out ball, so therefore we're camped in our half.
And they're difficult to play against. They move the ball well. They've got pace, Minter on one side and obviously Matoma on the other, and they brought on other players and we're trying to look for different solutions, weren't they, to get at us. But in the main, Everton defended absolutely brilliantly. I thought Tarkowski was magnificent. The couple of times they did get round the back, he mopped it up. Pickford was good apart from one which he should have claimed. He flapped that, but other than that he was good. I
didn't even think he flapped it. He just seemed to jump and lose it in the air. He didn't like throw a hand at it either. He just sort of
it was
pogoed. It was weird.
Action,
It was weird. Then we blocked it and then he pushed it over the bar.
Got it over the bar. It was but that was the only one moment.
No, I mean, listen, when you're under that much pressure, like as I said, the one with Brantwaite, he goes up and he sort of loses the flight of it. He hits him on the back and it falls for a But apart from that, he was excellent all game.
Michalenko was good.
Yeah, Michalenko done his. The whole back line. O'Brien very calm, got his blocks in, and as I said before, big part of it is knowing when not to do something. And the amount of times they got goal side and you're like, please just don't throw a foot in. Let's see what he can do. Let's see if he's got the we've got loads of men in the box. You know what's weird was, like in like the 88th minute, I was calmer than when we were 4-1 up 2 seasons ago. That's how weird it was. It was like,
that was closer to the end of the season.
I know.
No, I know what you mean.
But I was calm.
I only believed we'd win that one when it went 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is crazy.
When McNeil walked it in.
McNeil put it.
When he walked it in.
Smashed it for the 5th, didn't he?
Yeah.
When he smashed it for the 5th was the first time I screamed my head off of like, we've won it.
Yeah. I was quite calm because, I mean, I wasn't like trying to get into the mindset of, well, at least we'll get a point.
I only had that in the 90, when they got the might have been a corner right at the end. It was like 97 minutes, and I was thinking, even if they scored now, I back us to get a point. Obviously, real defeaters, but what I meant was we'd done so much work, we looked knackered and thinking, I'd have took a point before the game.
The thing was, even with the 10 men, I just think they'd run out of ideas once they did 90 minutes. They really did run out of ideas, and we had everyone back. And I did think, as I said before, I thought the subs really worked. I thought James Garner, straight away, for the players being out for so long, knew when to put the tackle in. We didn't give away too many stupid fouls. Ashley Young knew his job. Patterson knew his job. And to be honest, I think Beto should have. Well, he should have hit the target.
Yeah, if he'd have gone across, he went near post. He should have tried to track.
That was a lot better chance than. Because he'd done all the initial hard work.
Yeah, he'd done the hard work. The other frustrating bit with him was he'd done brilliantly, but he should have gone to the corner flag and he tried to get it, let the lad just usher him out, and he just took it off him. But that's where he's got to learn that late, because he'd put a lot of running in to get into the position. He should have just took it over and held it up. But, obviously you mentioned it before, but we lost Mangala. you could see he planted his foot, and then the lad, it wasn't a foul, but the lad hit him hard, like solidly once he planted his foot in. You sort of knew it was a bad one straight away by his reaction. But that is a blow, because even though he's not been amazing, he has been good for us. He's steady, he's good in possession, really, he's calm. He's got that little bit of intelligence. He gets shots away.
The most frustrating thing is like, I know people might go, oh, yeah, but James Garner's back. I know, but look at this game and go, that's why you have men on the bench. That's why you need players of equal levels so you can replace one with the other. And that's the most frustrating. I mean, I've just got a horrible feeling that it's going to be an ACL or something like that. And it's going to be,
he's done. Will he be done, won't he?
No, I'm saying, or whether it's going to be like, whatever, 3 months or whatever, just the way he planted his foot. But it's having those players, though, that you can go, right, you've done an hour. Like, if on a day, you take, especially with the Corey as well, where you can go, right, we take the Corey off now and then put him into the team. And
Malira Boonham should be in the squad next week.
Yeah, let's hope so.
He should be fit.
That'd be a bonus.
And then
but I do like
Mangala.
I do like Mangala. I think he's a really calm presence and allows Adesina Gay to do his role. And as we were saying before, Adesina Gay was absolutely brilliant, because what he does is, not only does he win the ball, but then he doesn't panic. He's got he'll just run into one way and then turn around and run the other way.
The one on the edge of the box, he flicked it over the fella's head.
Loads of that recently.
I'm thinking, oh my God. He flicked it over his head, then come out with the ball. I'm like, oh my God. But he was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. And obviously the ball goes up and it's 8 minutes and you're just like, oh my God. And even though they weren't, it's just that 8 minutes, because we know we were 1-0 up in the 95th minute there a year ago, and Lewis Dunk equalised with the header, didn't he? From nowhere against 10 men. Yeah. But we done brilliantly. We got our bodies in the weights, like I said. Tarkowski, exceptional. Everything, headed everything away, got blocks in. The reason why he's blocked the most shots in the Premier League. And we ground out what was a fantastic victory for us. Brighton will be disappointed, having dominated the game and had all them shots, that they've only hit the target once in the game, and they can go, you've done nothing or whatever. But in our defence, I think they were 9 unbeaten, I think, on a good run. Difficult teams, a really good side, and we've gone there and won again. I think it's Everton have had 3 wins or 2 wins and 3 draws in the last 5 years down there, so we've got a good record down there, and we extended them 3 wins, isn't it? We extended it, so amazing result really for us, because back-to-back victories at this stage, it was something we've talked about for months, haven't we? If you could just get those 2 wins on the run, and you've seen where it sort of put us, where now, I don't know about you, but I'm looking at Spurs. I was gutted United won last night, because we were right by them, but I fancy us to beat them at Goodison. I'm looking at West Ham, Palace, and thinking, all these teams.
Well, you just want to get in the next group, don't you?
That's where you are now.
Just want to get in the next group. Because even before, I was talking to James before about him, saying, like, mentally, even if there was 2 or 3 teams between us and the bottom 3, and there's still 7 points, you'd go, we're fine. But because there's only 1 team below us, and of course we played them at the weekend, you still got to be like, You
see, that result yesterday, that Leicester one, like Spurs were winning, I was thinking that's good. And then they equalised, and then I thought, 1-1's not bad. And then Leicester won, and I was a bit like, I can't believe, But then I looked at the league and I was like, I'm not really worried. Leicester will win the odd game. But Spurs, even though Tottenham have got, if they get the players back, will be fine. Still thinking, actually, that if we can beat Leicester, that's a good result if we can beat Leicester. Yeah, exactly. So and that, I think we all should be looking up now. Because it's about creating that momentum, isn't it? You're looking at the teams near the bottom. Okay, Leicester had a great result. But when you look at them, I still look and think they're going to have to go some to get 32, 33 points when you look at them. And they might win the odd game. If we can beat them at the weekend, then it puts what would it be, 9?
It's 10 between us and them.
Right, so that's the incentive then, isn't it? Go beat them at Goodison on Saturday, 10 points. That's really difficult for them to overturn 10 points at this late stage in the season. So that's where
And we will go with Spurs.
And they don't play till Sunday, and you look at them and go, I wouldn't back them to get any points at the minute. I can't remember who they're playing at the weekend, but I think they've got a tricky one. But that's what it's about. You just mentioned him there, Idrissa Gana Gueye, absolutely outstanding. I give him man of the match. Let's have a look at his numbers from Saturday. And you go 86% passing accuracy. He won 10 out of 15 of his ground duels, 4 tackles won, 2 interceptions and 6 ball recoveries. He was just every, for a fella who is 35 years of age, shows no signs of slowing up. No. And you know, you seen it when at the final whistle, David Moyes went over and grabbed him and was, you know, and they were there dancing with the core and all that, cause that, and then they all had to get off to have a little bit of a Barney. You know, a little bit of a Barney, which
no Seagulls were hurt.
No.
During that fight.
Jan Cuba Mintz took not joining Everton really personally, hasn't he? Because we wouldn't pay that extra money and he had to go to Brighton. He's had the cob on ever since, even though he's gone to a really good side. Day one, he was having a go at the Evertonians. Then he tried to kill Michalenko and had to go off with the head injury, even though he should have given a pen away. Must be. And then at the weekend, had to go pick. But no, I mean, Garner was absolutely brilliant.
No, he was brilliant, wasn't he? And yeah, just got to make sure we get him signed up for next season. It's like, I don't know. It's an hard one, isn't it, with him? Because he just, like, I was talking about, I think I mentioned this on Saturday. He's been such a shining light in both sorts of periods of his time at Everton. Yeah. And, he could have, he left Paris Saint-Germain. He goes to Paris Saint-Germain, leaves Paris Saint-Germain, comes back to us. He obviously absolutely loves the club, but he always falls into that category again of like sort of similar to Pickford, where it's like not difficult, but you don't get are we as close to these players because it's been rubbish, because it's sort of been a lot of like not all relegation fights, but seasons have been all over the place. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's so difficult, but I just think for me, he's someone that. It's sad that he doesn't play. He doesn't play for better Everton teams. Like, he deserves to have played for decent Everton teams, and that's why I really hope that he's with us next season and gets to play in the new stadium and is part of something maybe a little bit better, because you can just see how much he responds to it. I think he's a captain in many ways for like. I think this has been since he was the first time he was here. It's like, a lot of like sort of like the French speaking players and a lot of like foreign lads who come into the club. It's like he, where you look at Seamus Coleman and go, as a someone who looks after like everyone. Garner's like someone who, obviously, if you're a foreign player, if you're French speaker or whatever, there's a gravitas towards him because he's been here so long. And
he loves it though, doesn't he?
And you can, and I actually, you've seen the last few games how like calm he is, like, and he is doing those little, like he's such like, he understands the game so well. Like, he understands the pace that he needs to play at. He never looks ruffled, and I know as a fan at times he might give the ball away, and you think. But for me, he's like 35 and he's just at the top of his game.
Well, we saw this with Gareth Barry, didn't we? Yeah. Of a player who was mid-30s and still unbelievable, and it wasn't about Garner's quicker than Gareth Barry ever was, but it's just being in the right place and the calmness when he was, I think it was Gareth. It must be. Although he didn't have them on Saturday, did he?
By the seaside.
He didn't need it. He didn't need it because of the seaside.
The temperature goes up.
That was it. Another player who I thought was brilliant and has had to wait for his time at Everton was Jake O'Brien. Let's have a look at his numbers from the weekend. 77% passing accuracy, 10 clearances, 4 out of 4 tackles won 4 out of 6 of his ground duels, and had 4 ball recoveries as well. And like we said before, he learned very quickly about Matoma and Lamptey and adjusted accordingly. And he's had to be patient, he's had to wait for his time, but it's really telling that David Moyes has come in and he's been involved in all 3 games, and he started the last 2 and we've won both the games.
Well, it's interesting what he said after the match about he said about centre-backs sometimes have to come in a full-back, and he said I had to, and obviously we know David Moyes' first time at Everton, there was times when players did have to wait, and
Lescott played left back,
and other players didn't even get it. Some players like Yobo had to sit out for long stretches because other players were doing better, and he found obviously that he believes that he's too good a player not to be in the team, and if that means you have to change something or it's going to help. And it's helped, hasn't it? Because we can be a 4, we can be a 3, we can be a 5. And the lad himself showed the versatility, and it's on the lad, isn't it? The lad's got an opportunity and has done really well in both. And what I like about him is in both games, he hasn't done. I'll go back to what I said before. He hasn't done anything stupid. You know, he hasn't done. I really felt for this City kid at the weekend. Do you know what I mean? I mean, getting thrown in was a bit mad, but within 3 minutes he's done something stupid, and it's cost them a goal, and you know they've got themselves out of it. But Jake O'Brien's come in and has been waiting for that, and you just think, don't do anything stupid in the moment of it. You know, you're excited, and this is his second Premier League game, and they could have even early on. Who was it? It was Lindstrom early on, wasn't he? He got booked for pulling a play down before he got into the box. Clever, because he thinks he's away. But I was just made up that, because O'Brien, you look at him and think, if you tangle with a player and it's clumsy, it's called doing a damn bit. If you tangle with a player and it looks clumsy and goes down, you are never ever getting the benefit of the doubt.
No,
never,
because you're massive.
Because you're massive, and the little fellow will always get the benefit of the doubt. And I was made up on Saturday that he understood to just get himself in the way when you're goal side, because you're fine. But the minute you're not goal side of a player, they've always got the advantage. And obviously we don't want to be in that position, but it will happen. Players are quicker than
us. Yeah.
And I thought that was good. I thought that was what was really good. And
they done one second half where they actually, 2 of them come and just stepped out with the ball, went down them and then set off and played a little curled ball into the channel.
I think we forget that Premier League footballers are good. Like but what I mean is though, they're all genuinely good footballers in terms of.
I have said this all season.
They can control a ball. You know, some of players that insane every day. People are firing passes at them. You know. And the best ones make it so easy. Ping, ping, ping. And yeah, for some reason or whatever the training was, it didn't encourage that. And then it's you're not getting. But he looks like, you know, and he looks like you can just get it, touch it, give himself a little bit of time, and then. So he's done well in his first 2 games.
It's been good. It's been good, like you said. Good to see him using Patterson and all that. Let's have a look at the match stats from the game. There we go. Brighton 0, Everton 1. That's all that matters. 16 attempts at goal to Brighton, 3 to the Toffees, 1 on target each. XG 0.73 to Everton, 0.85. 69% possession for the Seagulls, but ultimately Everton have won the game, and that's all that matters. And we move on now to Leicester City at home this weekend. Yeah. They're 6 points behind us, Leicester. So if we won, it'd be 9. I did say that. But it's. If only there was a way to check that you said 10. But it's about.
I said the bottom 3 would be 10.
Okay.
That's what I said.
Okay. We just got to beat them. We've got to beat them. Yeah. And if we do, we've put ourselves pivotal, in a great position.
It's a real pivotal moment in the season where you can go. The rest of the season is just about playing every game.
Well, I said
not playing the situation.
I said when he come in, if he could win 5 and draw 3.
Yeah.
That was allowing 11 defeats, which I think is ridiculous if Everton lost 11 in 19. That would see us well clear. Well, we've won 2. So for me, it's 3 and 3. What have we got? 16 games to play. Yeah. So 3 wins, 3 draws gives them 10 defeats. I think he should be looking at anywhere near that amount. But that, in my opinion, would be well enough to
even
get
if you look at it like points a game.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Points a game
gets us 38 points.
Yeah, so
39
points. Yeah. So that's that's the metric we've been going off for most of the season.
Yeah.
Even when we've been dross. So for me, a win Saturday and you go above Spurs, I'm looking going, okay, it's done. But you're playing each game then and you're not playing the situation.
Well, then you're a point, if we were to win, and you can never do it like this, but you'd be sort of like a point behind West Ham. And West Ham don't play till Monday night. At Chelsea, you're a point behind Crystal Palace. Them kind of things, those other teams then are going, oh my God, we're right next to it. Because don't forget, this is what Palace were right in it, and then he won 3 games and no one's even talking about them anymore. So that's sort of what we've got to do. But it was a fantastic win at the weekend, and we've got a week now. The attention has to turn to players coming in now, because of the injuries as well. And let's hope we can get a couple in and that boost Saturday then as well for what is a big game.
Yeah.
That is it from us. We're continuing over on Premier, but make sure you like this video, subscribe if you haven't, if you want to become a Toffee TV Premier member. Links in the description, QR codes on the screen now. See you later.